Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and so they officially released Huohuo, a sucrose for any of you Genshin Impact players, look alike, a mix with Hutao or something. But how you pronounce this character, for any of you who want to know how to pronounce the Chinese name, is Huohuo, which is like the fourth intonation or 第四调. If you are looking up for the Hanyu Pinyin or anything, that's how you pronounce her basically. But if you don't care about that, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my thoughts on a character who was released, in my opinion, at a very peculiar time, now that we have just had a very strong, probably I would say meta-defining preservation character like Fucc. She's an Abundance Win, which I think is a pretty good, if I may use the word like copium, if you lost a 50-50 on Fucc, or maybe you are having a certain set of conditions too. Let me just switch the screen over to the game engine real quick. And it comes at a very interesting time because Fucc has just been released. I guess any of us who maybe lost the 50-50 and kind of feel salty about it because everyone is talking about the defensive unit in the game, Fucc, who is really strong. It comes as a saving grace because at least now you know in the near future, like 1.5, which is likely when she's going to be launched, likely because Jingliu as well as Topaz and Nambi are going to be released in 1.4, but we will see this Friday when the live stream drops. You can already check out the channel, I already have like build guides on them or going to be released as well, so if you're interested in the 1.4 characters, do check it out. But otherwise, let me just share with you some of my thoughts about where she's going to be and where she's going to be positioned also, and some things to think about. If maybe you lost like the 50-50 for Fucc, I think it's a very good idea to look at this Huohuo character coming out in future, who I may have certain dreams that I've already been aware or exposed to. Of course, a lot of things can change, dreams are never certain yet, but definitely the trickiest question for a game developer at this point, Hoyoverse, is you already released two excellent defensive units. So if you're a pay-to-play player and you already have both of these units, you likely won't need another sustain because you can get by pretty much with a character like Lynx. Natasha will fill in the most gaps. What this means is the Abundance character Huohuo that is going to be released is likely going to be a healer, of course same like Luota, but she needs to add a little bit more value. In a sense, what are we missing now in the game? We already saw from Fucc that it's very likely that a character from one path can actually fulfill like many different paths in terms of her overall kit design, and I think the same thing is going to be for an Abundance character, for example like Huohuo. She likely will give something more, a buff to the whole team, or maybe providing some kind of resource, either skill points, either energy for the whole team, or maybe some sort of buffs. I can't specify anything. But based on dreaming, it might be energy, who knows, right? It might be a combination of like a Tingyun's kit where it buffs energy and maybe Natasha's kit when it sustains. But we will see how that goes. In that case, I think that will put her in nicely with this current position, because as most of you know, Fuccen's limitation is if she takes a lot of AoE damage and you don't have like her highly invested with like her Litecoin and stuff, might fall short on sustain. I do see a position that even if you have these two characters, you can probably put Huohuo together with Fucc to give like a lot of buffing throughout the team, either through like energy restoration, healing, sustain, crit rate, and blah blah blah. Could see it work as well. Definitely quite interesting to consider. But if you are having these two characters, you are in a position of power, you can sit back, relax, and watch everyone comment and discuss before you actually pull the plug, because you already are more or less settled in terms of the defensive aspect. Of course, if you're a person that maybe lost the 50-50 Fucc, this is like a very nice feeling, because now you know that in the near future, you don't know about Luota's rerun, but you know at least there's going to be another sustained character who, in my opinion, looks pretty okay. From how it goes, we need to have more official information about her kit as well in order to make a determination. Of course, I still like Fucc a lot, I'm not downplaying anything, but it's just a bit more relaxing note, and maybe you don't feel so stressed about losing a 50-50 or something like that. And of course, the last group of people is maybe you pull for Fucc but you don't have Luota. These people I think are in a very good position to consider. If you need a very solid other second healer, instead of waiting for a Luota rerun, and maybe you don't play a character like Blade, so you don't really care about the Luota and Blade synergy, you could always consider picking up this Abundance character who is going to be Win, and also likely going to be doing a little bit different things from Luota. And especially if you're a character that maybe uses a little burst, or maybe who knows, some other resource could be interesting to consider. But that's not all that I want to talk about, other than the current comms that we have in the game. Of course, sustain is very useful, but if any of you already have these two characters, it's likely not a full-on important criteria. I don't think it's a pressing need, especially if you have Lynx and Natasha. Defensively, I think it's more or less okay so far. We are not pressured, so we really are in quite a comfortable situation to decide. If it was like released in 1.2, 1.3 when Huohuo was actually introduced in the game without like this character yet, and maybe you only have Luota and you have to choose between Luota and Huohuo, I think that will be a much better time to sell her, but who knows what Hoyoverse is thinking right now. Another thing that I want to talk about really is like the light cones currently, and out of all of them, I think the abundance light cones are actually the best in terms of free to play, because a lot of these light cones can be used by a lot of people. The battle pass one, you have max HP, you get some sort of heal as well, depending on what she skills off with as well. You have here a very generic one that restores energy for a random ally. Of course, this one doesn't care whether she skills off attack, HP, defense, whatever she skills off with is pretty good. You have perfect timing here that also doesn't scale off with a HP attack, so it's quite versatile to build also, and it gives you effect rest, with which like most healers need. Outgoing healing bonus is pretty good as well. So I think we are in a very nice position to choose a lot of stuff. Like this one here is also very generic, doesn't care whether it's HP scaling, attack scaling, works fine too. Post-op here is also like both also works. So we are in a very nice position of power to really decide and have very flexible options to build abundance characters, and that is what I really like. The only thing about abundance characters is they are mostly focused on healing and energy based on what we see in the light cones. So my first opinion is likely she's going to be some sort of energy restoration unit for the rest of the team. As you can see, most of these light cone have some sort of like energy restoration to it, which kind of like fits in line with what is going on currently in the game. If that's the case, could be interesting, but we'll talk about it more once we have more official information about her. And we're going to be talking about the next character that's going to be drip marketed tomorrow. Who's it going to be? Who knows? But anyway, stay tuned on the channel. More discussion is going to be involved. And if you like this character, do let me know in the comments below, and I'll keep an eye out more for her, and I'll push up priority of her content too as well on this channel. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.